Okay, time for a little update. So, taking some more of the ceiling down, exposed a bit more of it. So you can see there's our doorway, and let me just zoom out a bit, get a better picture. There we go. There's the window. There's the strategically placed insulation above our ceiling there. As you can see, highly efficient use of it going on there. 1 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch and whatever the rest is, and lots of this lovely yellow insulation. Got a bit more of that to remove yet across that ceiling, and I'll get rid of all of that PIR soon enough. So here we got the window. Now all this brickwork, apparently previous people who lived here bricked this up. I think either the neighbours came to an agreement to brick it up, or the previous owners of our property bricked it up. I'm not sure, but that is a single skin. Our neighbours, that's our neighbours' gardens on the other side of this wall, so that's for them to look at. Now it's a single skin, and they bricked up, obviously from the outside, because there's been no pointing up on the inside here, and just across the top there, that's the top course. It's like half a brick, and then you got the archway. Now I can't get high enough at the moment. Hang on, let me just grab these steps. Maybe that'll get me up high enough. Goes down there. There we go. Right, you can see inner arch, and then there's an outer arch. Now the bottom of the brick of that outer arch is literally a mortar joint away from those top half bricks. Now I'm obviously going to put some bricks in there, but the question is, do I do a second skin of brickwork to fill the rest of that up and bring it to the same surface as the rest of this brick wall, or do I put a stud wall in and all the appropriate fabric? Because as we know, our exterior walls are 1.5 bricks, so 4 inches, 4.5 inches, 4.5 inches, and then there's another 4.5 inch reveal on the outside. So that's one query I've got to try and decide on, because ultimately I'm going to be covering this wall up again, and I think we've decided to go down the internal wall insulation route. IWI, I think that's what it stands for, but basically rather than solid timber studs built up along this wall, they're insulated studs effectively. So you could have, say, 4 inch PIR or 3 inch PIR. Oh, by the way, all of this was stored up there, so I'll be using some of that in the flooring probably. So you'd have a sheet of PIR and then literally just a sheet of OSB board glued straight onto that, strips cut off, and that's effectively your studs, where you put your sole, header and uprights, the commons. So because this is lime mortar brickwork, now much to my argument against the breathability aspect, the wall's painted, the bricks themselves are glazed, so there's no breathability in that respect. Our flooring is below the damp proof course. Where can I show you that? So there's our damp proof course, inch thick mortar joint all the way along, until you get to this doorway where I don't think they've put any damp proof course in there, because if that was a course, I don't think it's thick enough, and I can't see any DPM membrane in there anywhere. DPM, no telltale signs anyway. Still a bit concerned about that corner, just because of the discoloration of that brick, but we'll see what's going on there later on. So the heck was I saying? So we're going to be building the floor level inside throughout, up 160 mils, so 4-inch PIR, and then we're going to put underfloor heating. What is it? Water fed underfloor heating, hydro, whatever it's called. And then a liquid screed over the top of all of that. So that's about 160 mil build up. That'll bring us above, and that's where I worked out where the steels were going to be sitting on the lintels, as I think I've shown you all of that detail before. So that means I've lost my train of thought again. What was I going about? The UE system. Yeah, anyway, breathability, that was it. So my argument is because the lack of breathability that's even been on this wall since when they first converted these stables. Obviously we got foil, we got paint, we've got the actual glazing on the brickwork, and with all of that plasterboard on top, we've had no signs of any damp coming through whatsoever. So to me that says no damp problems, and if that was, you know, proven beyond doubt and belief, then I'd be covering all of the walls with this stuff and sound deadening everything, so we didn't have to listen to the obviously speeding traffic on the main road outside. But best not to take any risks, so we're using these IWI studs, IWI, insulated, whatever the heck it stands for. That fixed to the wall, and then we're going to use sheep's wool battens in between. That ticks 3 boxes. That ticks the breathability box, that ticks the thermal insulation value box, and it also ticks the sound proofing box as well. So that to me is a no-brainer, and I think cut out for some reason there. Anyway, what I was saying is, I think I've mentioned where I'm guessing the original roof trusses are. So you can see on the ceiling there, no, that one there, a telltale crack, and that's the roof truss beam that spans the whole width of the building. And you can see the next one just along there, and from all my measurements, that's where I've calculated it to be. So this wall, internal wall, isn't structural, or i.e. it's not carrying any weight, and it's purely cosmetic. Obviously it's carrying these ceiling joists, but I'm removing those. Expertly installed ceiling joists, and considering their span of nearly 4 meters, you should have seen the sag in them. Bloody hell, I'm glad I didn't go walking around up there. I would have come straight through the middle. Anyway, that's the the whip, the work in progress so far. Next stage is to get the rest of that down and see what more PIR I've got that I could use.
And don't forget, I was born to be liked. So, subscribe, you son of a bitch.